Hello, this is going to be a Module 5 practical video assignment. So first, I have to show you my working area. And for this video, I'm going to be starting with the verbalization part of the practical. So for this practical, we are working on the facial side in the lower left quadrant. So right here. And the instruments that we'll be using today is the hand mirror, the posterior universal sickle, and the Barnhard universal curette. So with the posterior universal sickle, you can only use it supragingivally, and you can use it in all regions, posterior and anterior, but mainly we use it in the posterior region. It has two cutting edges, and the way we choose the working end is by making sure that the shank this is parallel to the long axis of the tooth. We go like this, it wraps around the tooth, and if we go like this, it's parallel to the long axis of the tooth. And here we have the universal curette, the Barnhard one. And this one, you can use it supra and subgingivally, but we mainly use it for subgingivally. And it can be used in either the posterior or anterior regions of the mouth. It's a universal curette. And it has two cutting edges, and the way we choose the working end is the same way as the posterior sickle. So make sure that it is parallel to the long axis of the tooth. So we want to make sure we have a modified pen grasp. So and we want to make sure that we are adapting the cutting edge so that the tip third is on the tooth surface, and we want to make sure we select the correct working end, and we want to demonstrate the insertion of the instrument beneath the gingival margin at a closed angulation. We want to have light insertion pressure. We want to adjust the angulation to 60 to 70 degrees so that the lowest shank is parallel to the long axis of the tooth. We want to have a sharp instrument, and you want to use an intraoral fulcrum the whole time. And to explore the root surface, we want to use an exploratory stroke to locate any deposits that might be there, and evaluate for wherever the calculus is. And you also want to use an exploratory stroke to remove any soft deposits that are subgingival. And then we want to apply a working stroke for calculus removal. We want to make sure our modified pen grass and fulcrum are stabilized when we're doing the working stroke. We want to make sure we're applying appropriate lateral pressure for the working stroke to make sure we're removing all the calculus deposits. And we want to apply stroke pressure in the coronal direction only, and we want to make sure we have a face to tooth angulation that is 70 to 80 for supergingival, and we want to make sure it is 60 to 70 degrees for subgingival. We want to make sure that we're rotating the instrument to have to make sure there is proper adaptation of the instrument, and we want to use an appropriate stroke length and make sure that the fulcrum pivots so we have proper wrist arm movements. They want to have vertical, oblique, and horizontal strokes, and the end goal is to achieve a biologically sound root surface so that reattachment of the tissue can occur. So now I'm going to set up for the demonstration part of this practical assignment. So I would usually have the mirror to retract the cheek and have the back surface reflect where I'm working some. But I'm gonna put this down. So. I'm going to start with the posterior sickle, but I would have the patient, I would be in about a 10 degrees since I am right-handed. I'll be in the right side, and at 10 degrees chair position, and I would have, since it is a surface away, I would have them turn their heads towards me so that I can see the area that I'm working on. So let's get started. So we have lower parallel to the lines of the tooth. We want to start on distal first. So now I'm switching over to the universal curette. So we want to have parallel to long axis of the tooth. You want to try to enter the blade at a closed position. And make sure you hear those biting strokes. And start on the distal, and then you switch to the mesial. And this concludes my Module 5 video practical assignment. So thank you for watching.